Right, good evening to you. Thank you so much for making time for the program tonight. This is Look Up News. My name is Brian Amwai. These are the top stories tonight.
The news headlines in association with
inspiring possibility.
Director of Public Prosecution seeks to have the present criminal case withdrawn against all the accused persons.
Tonight on Look Up News, court gives DPP go-ahead to withdraw DP Gachagwa's 7.3 billion fraud case. Also tonight, court allows detention of 8 out of 9 police officers linked to the disappearance of Ruto's poll experts.
Vital organs ambazo pia zinaweza kusaidia ama zinaweza kumuongoza kupata ile sababu ya kifo zikawa haziko.
Naomba serikali hii ya Kenya itafute kifo cha mtoto wangu.
A family in Kilifi is crying for justice after king died in Italy mysteriously.
Yippee! Kamata floating at 349k. Oh yes, for only 349,000 Kenyan shillings, you become a plot owner at the Great Oasis Gardens, Nanyuki. The Great Oasis Gardens, Nanyuki is located along the Nanyuki-Rumuruti Road, only 11 minutes from the Cedar Mall and right opposite Mount Kenya Wildlife Estate. This is the best place to establish the getaway home that you have always dreamt about. For every 349,000 that you deposit or pay as installment towards any of Optiven's plot of land, you get 10k cash back instantly. Jaza basi twende Nanyuki. Bigger is indeed better.
All right, welcome to the program tonight. Once again, you can be part of the bulletin tonight by engaging us on our socials. That is at Amwai Brian on Twitter, at Lookuptv. The hashtag to use is lookupnews. We are also live on Facebook. Engage us there and we'll be able to sample your feedback as we continue with the program tonight. Our sign language interpreter is Philista Adundo. Let's start. Now, Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua is a free man after the anti-corruption court struck out a 7.4 billion shilling graft case against him. Now, Senior Principal Victor Wakumile granted the request by the Office of the Directorate of Public Prosecution to withdraw the case for lack of sufficient evidence. DPP also claimed it was under intense pressure to prosecute the case that Justice Wakumile has termed a misuse of judicial process. And as our reporter Henry Tende now files, all the 9 co-accused persons also had their cases withdrawn.
When the corruption case was instituted against him, Rigathi Gachagua, now the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, was very categorical that he is an innocent man being vilified for his political affiliation with his close confidant and now the head of state, President William Ruto.
He's on record for the 9 and 10 accused. And
today, the very office that had instituted the case against the Deputy President was before the Anti-Corruption Court with a request to quash Gachagua's case in its entirety. The office of ODPP and that of the DCI, in a twist of event, pleaded with the court to free Gachagua, arguing that the case lacked sufficient evidence to continue. The Hajis-led office blaming the DCI under the former boss, George Kinoti, for doing a shoddy job. That request was granted by Senior Principal Magistrate Victor Wakumile, in essence bringing to an end a high-profile corruption case.
There being no objection to the substantive application by the prosecution to have the matter withdrawn under Section 87A of the Criminal Procedure Code, the application is hereby granted.
It is what transpired in the court that has got Kenyans with questions than answers. DPP, through its counsel, claims it was under pressure from unspecified sources to prosecute Rigathi Gachagua, even in the face of insufficient evidence. Was it political witch hunt, or his now acquired stature as the sitting deputy president had a major say in the collapse of his case?
We are no longer passive arbiters of everything and anything that is presented before us for adjudication. Never, in my view, should the judicial system be used as a stopgap measure or even a doormat. There is need to respect institutions.
In 2021, Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua was arrested and presented before the DCI office to have his statement taken in a graft case involving a 7.4 billion Kenyan shillings fraudulently received through 3 bank accounts at Rafiki Microfinance Bank. All the 9 co-accused William Wahome Mwangi, Anne Nduta Ruo, Julian Jahenda Maka, Samuel Murimi, Grace Wambui Kariuki, Lawrence Kimaru, Irene Wambui Ndigiriri, David Reuben, and a company Rapid Medical Supplies had their cases withdrawn.
The DPP, the DCI ought to have from the word go known that you cannot take someone in court in anticipation that you will get further evidence. It is in constitutional right of every Kenyan, and every Kenyan is presumed to be innocent until proven guilty, and therefore taking someone in court with the anticipation that you will find some evidence is actually not only unconstitutional, but goes against even the very same spirit of our constitution to enshrine the freedom of all Kenyans until may be found guilty.
Indeed, the freedom has come for Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua. Henry Tende, Lookuptv.
All right, away from justice has come 8 police officers from the disbanded Special Service Unit to the criminal investigation will remain behind bars for 21 more days. This is after the court ruled to detain them to allow the state to complete investigations. However, the court has released one of the officers on a cash bail of 500,000 shillings. Shadrach Kareria with the details.
The 9 police officers from the defunct Special Service Unit SSU being embroiled in disappearance of Ruto's poll expert appeared in Kahawa-based court for a bail ruling that never was. Kahawa local Chief Magistrate Diana Mochache ruled that the police have proved that they are investigating a serious matter which need time, hence detaining the 8 police officers for a period of 21 more days, allowing the state to complete investigations.
The first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, eighth, and ninth respondents shall be detained at their current and respective police stations for a period of 21 days from the date hereof, so as to enable the investigating officers to conclude investigations.
Mochache, however, released the 7th accused, Francis Mwendo, on a personal bond of 500,000 Kenyan shillings. This is after the suspect's lawyer stated that his handwriting was forged, arguing that he was not on duty on the night of abduction of 2 Indian nationals and their Kenyan driver.
The 7th respondents who are further affidavits sworn on 1st November and filed the same on 3rd. At paragraph 3, he explains in detail his whereabouts on 22nd. He deposits that he arrived at Makindu between 21 hours and 22 hours. He further states that he spent the night at Kingston Hotel Makindu, Makueni County, where he paid 1,700 in cash. He states that after checking into the hotel, he never left until the following morning, 23rd, at 8:00 hours. The 7th respondent is released on a personal bond of 500,000 and shall report to the investigating officer as and when required. He shall not travel out of Nairobi without informing the investigating officers.
Mochache ruled that the 8 officers will be escorted for a DNA test, leaving the door open for the officers to have their own pathologist for a DNA result clarity, as the Defense Council had prayed to be granted an order of the same.
The respondents shall be escorted to the National Forensic Laboratory for provision of blood samples for purposes of DNA testing and analysis of the blood on the exhibits in custody of the investigators. 3. In order to safeguard the integrity of the process, each respondent is at liberty to have a pathologist of his choice during the extraction and testing of the DNA samples at their own cost.
The 9 officers were arrested after they were suspected of getting involved in the disappearance of 2 Indians and their Kenyan driver.
Ultimately, don't agree with the decision. In all the arguments we raised, just like the Supreme Court, none of the arguments was upheld. All of them were dismissed as hot air. The arguments of the respondents were dismissed, none was upheld. We have instructions to move to the High Court immediately today to challenge the decision of the 21 days.
Lawyers of the 8 police officers will be detained for 21 more days for investigation have now moved to the High Court to challenge the detainment decision of this court. Reporting for Lookuptv from Kahawa Law Courts in Nairobi County, my name is Shadrach Kareria.
Now from the corridors of justice, President William Ruto has today chaired his first meeting with his cabinet secretaries who recently took oath of office at State House, Nairobi. Now the cabinet secretaries will be mandated with implementing the president's agenda through his first term. This story was prepared by Ian Ketani.
William Ruto today led his cabinet in its first session after taking over office, with all the 22 cabinet secretaries in attendance. Ruto chaired the session at State House, Nairobi, amid serious concerns among Kenyans over remarks made by various of his cabinet secretaries in recent days.
First and foremost, let me welcome each and every one of you to this first cabinet meeting under the new administration.
Earlier in the day, Ruto also attended the annual general meeting for the Kenya National Chamber of Commerce and Industry, where he emphasized on the need to ensure more pathways are created for businessmen and women in order to increase production.
As it pertains to manufacturing, MSMEs must be supported to participate in supply and value chains through establishment of processing plants and common shared facilities. The cost of production must also be lowered significantly through lower energy and input costs and a more supportive tax regime.
Speaking during the meeting, Ruto indicated there are plans in place to start manufacturing cheaper smartphones locally, while assuring the youth that in partnership with county governments, more recreational facilities will be refurbished to support the creative arts industry.
Our tea, we are selling 95% of our tea in a semi-processed state. And I have said that we are going to have a common user facility in Mombasa at the Dongo Kudu complex so that we can begin the journey to add value to all our teas, create jobs, and access better value for our farmers.
The head of state assured the small-scale business and women in the country that his government will refurbish and modernize various markets to serve as manufacturing centers in a bid to boost their business and ensure production more consistently.
It is time to upgrade current markets to serve as modern manufacturing centers, complete with shared facilities for small businesses to enable them produce consistently at competitive rates. And I have committed that we are going to modernize our markets countrywide, starting with 20 markets in the city of Nairobi, to be able to ensure that our business people have habitable, decent, healthy environment to carry out their business.
On his part, Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua decried the ongoing drought that continues to ravage across the country, urging various stakeholders to chip in and help those affected by the menace.
We are having a serious crisis because of the adverse effects of climate change. 4.3 million Kenyans are facing starvation. 2.5 million herds of cattle are dead. There is danger to wipe out our wildlife, and we are having meetings to look for short-term solutions, mid-term and long-term. I want to appeal to all of you to give a hand to the people of Kenya.
Ian Ketani, Lookuptv.
All right, Ketani. Now, Treasury Cabinet Secretary Professor Njuguna Ndung'u has reaffirmed the government's commitment on building an all-inclusive economy using the bottom-up economy approach. Now, speaking during the launch of the budget preparation for the financial year 2023-2024, Njuguna also pledged to reduce the country's expenditure so as to reduce the debt burden. This is a story prepared by Edwin John Mukora.
BPO, there is incubation hubs, and 47 because of the 47 counties.
With the country's economy still trying to recover from the shackles of the COVID-19 pandemic, the ongoing Russian-Ukraine conflict and the ravaging drought being witnessed in the country, Treasury has outlined its 5 economic pillars that will try to revive back the economy back to its feet, with the inflation having hit 9.6% in October.
Looking at 2021, the Kenyan economy did quite well. We had a growth of 2021, and this was from a very huge contraction of 0.3% in 2020, and around 2020, because that's when heightened the aspects of COVID were very strong. We saw recovery in all services sector and industry, except agriculture last year, 2021, which had a contraction.
Treasury Cabinet Secretary Professor Njuguna Ndung'u has named the 5 economic pillars as raising the GDP above 6%, decrease the inflation by 2.5% to 5%, stable and predictable interest and exchange rates over the medium term, tax revenue collection at 18% of the GDP, and reduction of expenditure to 22% of the GDP.
We process the budget through the sectors and not in the National Treasury. It is done through the sectors. Each ministry, department, and agency will make its proposals to the sector based on the priorities that have been outlined.
The ministry has also welcomed President William Ruto's Hustler Fund, saying it's going to help elevate many Kenyans, especially the low-income earners.
And once validation process is finalized, the MTP document will be published and launched. And after launching, just as I have said, we shall distribute to all the 47 counties.
As the budget process begins, it's a matter of time to see if these economic pillars outlined by the Treasury are going to help deliver the Kenya Kwanza pledges. Edwin John Mukora, Lookuptv, Nairobi.
Right, now that story by Edwin John Mukora takes us to our first break here on the program. Continue engaging us on our socials. At Amwai Brian on Twitter, it is at Lookuptv. The hashtag is Lookupnews. We'll be back in a few. Don't go too far.
Good to have you join us on Heart to Heart.
We bring you stories of people who, despite the pressures they experienced, still trusted God to see them through.
The seeds that was sown in me helped me navigate and overcome that period of my life.
New testimonies, new insights, and even better revelation of the good things God has in store for us.
There is always a blessing waiting for someone in every episode.
Vera Beauty and Fashion College is focused on being the leading technical and vocational training institute in the region. Our team possesses in-depth knowledge and extensive experience in the industry, offering thorough training in cosmetology, hairdressing, interior design, creative arts, training of trainers, nail technology, and fashion design. With branches in Nairobi, Thika, Meru, Eldoret, and now in Mombasa, our courses ensure that learners are completely equipped with knowledge, competency, and employability skills. Enroll today to be a part of a center of excellence.
It's handball. The military games are here. In the courts are different teams from the Defense Forces Handball Association, and their mission is to battle it out for the Chief of Defense Forces. Bora Cup for the best formation. Action kicks off on Monday the 7th till Tuesday the 15th of November from 8 a.m. daily at the Ulinzi Sports Complex. Team Bora Nigani, come witness the Handball Challenge Cup at its best. This action is brought to you by the Defense Forces Handball Association in partnership with the Kenya Handball Association. Lookuptv and Mudhingi TV are the official media partners. mkangazano wa wanajeshi.
For staying with us here on the program, and just a reminder, our sign language interpreter tonight is Felista Adundo. Plus, you can also engage us on our socials at Amwai Brian, that is on Twitter, at Lookuptv. The hashtag we use tonight is LookupNews. All right, let's continue with the program tonight. Now, Machakos County has confirmed 11 cases of cholera outbreak. Health CEC Daniel Yumbia said 11 are admitted at the Machakos Level 5 hospital with 1 in critical condition. Now, Yumbia attributed that 1 case was first reported at the Machakos School for the Deaf and 1 at the Machakos prison. Already, the county has outlined stringent measures to curb the spread of the disease, including banning of food hawking in the county for the next 2 weeks. Active rapid response teams at the both county and sub-county levels have been dispatched to implement response activities, enhance surveillance, laboratory testing, and case management, and also sensitization on environmental sanitation.
Food which is contaminated or water which is also contaminated. So what I want to say is that I want to give an update on the actions that we have taken as a government. One is that active rapid response teams are available at both at the county level and at every sub-county level. What we are implementing is enhanced surveillance to ensure that we get laboratory testing, case management, risk communication, and we are also engaging the community. And further, we want to assure the public that we are doing everything possible to ensure that we contain further spread of the disease. Number 3, we have also identified food and water quality surveillance, which is ongoing, and we are taking water samples, which we have taken from various counties where the disease has been reported. We are urging the public to ensure that they adhere to stringent hygiene practices at all levels.
Right now, a family in Malindi, Kilifi County, is in shock and anguish after learning that their daughter's body arrived in the country from Italy more than a month ago without certain internal organs. Now, the deceased, Amani Justin Luwali, had been staying with her Italian husband, who is now the main suspect. The investigations have been launched to determine the cause of death into.
Has engulfed a family in Malindi after their daughter's body arrived in the country from Italy more than a month ago in what the family says the body had no internal organs.
Tulienda kachukua mwili, lakini mwili umeambiwa kwamba usifunguliwe. Na sisi wagiriama kawaida yetu huwa lazima tuone mwili. Manake tumesema tunataka kuona mwili wa mwanangu mimi. Siwezi kuzika kabla sijamuona. Tukasafiri kutoka Mombasa hapo. Tukifika hapa Malindi, mwili ukatolewa nje na ukaanza kutazama. Ulipotazama nimeona huyu ni mtoto wangu. Vile amekuwa kama sivyo. Tukiona macho hakuna. Atolewa macho mtoto. Mambo mengine mishipa kama hakuna.
According to the family, the 36-year-old and a mother of one daughter, Amani Justin Luwali, had been living with her Italian husband in Italy since 2016, after which they got married. Family members claim that when the body arrived at the Star Hospital morgue in Malindi town and was concealed inside a tamper-proof metal box, which they had to break open in order to examine the body, only to realize that her major blood vessels were missing.
Ulipofika pale ule mwili, kwa ufupi lile sanduku lilikuwa limewekwa katika hali ambayo ilikuwa ni vigumu ni vigumu, manake lilikuwa limefunikwa, lilikuwa na screws mwanzo mpaka walikuwa mfungue screws zote all round, na walipolifungua sasa ilikiwa open, wakagundua kwamba pale ndani kulikuwa na sanduku lingine tena ambao ni la mabati. Ule mwili ulikuwa katika hali ambayo si nzuri. Sehemu nyingi zilikuwa zinaonyesha kama kusonwa kutoka kusema sehemu ya kama ya hii miguu mpaka chini. Macho hakuna, ni kama vidude vilikuwa tu vimewekwa vya plastic. So na alafu kutoka sehemu hii hapa chini ya hii shingo mpaka chini kufikia hapa kwenye tumbo kulikuwa na hiyo kama kumesonwa. So tayari tukawa tuna suspect. Sanduku ilikuwa imefungwa vile na imekuwa sealed kiasi ya kwamba ni kama ni sifunguliwe tena.
The family reports that the body was flown to Kenya via the Mombasa International Airport under the directive of the spouse, whose identity is being withheld due to pending investigations, who strictly advised that the container carrying the body should not be opened. The distraught family claims that they learned about their kin's demise after a friend of the deceased from Italy called to inform them, claiming that the body of their loved one was discovered in her house. Lookuptv is privy to the report that the deceased had filed for a divorce, but the matter had not yet been concluded. According to the autopsy report, the body was found with bloodstains on the nose and mouth, and that the cause of death could not be determined due to the missing vital organs. The report has stated that there is a possibility that organ harvesting was done and that her uterus and bladder were intact. Director of the Haki Africa Group, Mr. Matthias Shipeta, has promised to assist the family in getting justice and has urged Kenyan and Italian authorities as well as investigative organizations to assist in determining what transpired to Luwali's body. Grace Mureithi, Lookuptv.
Now, Transmara West Deputy County Commissioner Hassan Nur has revealed that disarmament and peace-building initiatives in the area has ushered in a positive way of steering economic development. Now, the conflict that has lasted for more than 2 months between two Maasai subclans, Siria and Wasi in Kishu, has been linked with the use of guns that are reported to perpetrate injuries.
For several months now, protracted clashes have been experienced in Transmara West, Kilgore sub-county. However, Transmara West Deputy County Commissioner Hassan Nur attributed previous wave of insecurity in the area to illegal possession of guns.
Tangu tutoe bunduki katika area ya Transmara, nafikiri mambo mingi yamebadilika. Hata sasa tunaelekea kwa mambo ya 24-hour economy. Wafanyabiashara wanafanya biashara yao, lakini zamani kutoka mbeleni kabla 2018 kulikuwa na shida mingi sana.
He has however disclosed that so far a total of 120 illegal guns have been confiscated, while some have been handed over willingly by the residents to the DCC's office.
Tangu tufanye peaceful disarmament ambayo tuliweza kupata karibu bunduki 120 katika area Transmara peke yake, na watu wenyewe walilete. Baada sisi kusema tutafanya operation, wakasema hakuna haja operation, wacha tulete bunduki.
The menace has now been curbed following intensified public education sessions on the urgent need for peaceful coexistence. Marlon Alando, Lookuptv.
Now, the task force further appointed by President William Ruto to look into problems affecting the education sector, especially the CBC system, has now visited and gotten views from the counties of Narok, Nandi and Embu. Our reporter, Pris Kanjeri, tells us the details.
Even as the downturn wave on CBC continues, various stakeholders from Narok County have shown support towards CBC, saying that it has been beneficial for learners, fostering their creativity. Not only that, it is attributed to be involving both to the learners and their parents.
Interactive, it is hands-on to the child, kwa sababu anaifeel, anashika, anaiona, na wanaipenda, they enjoy, vile tumeshaona katika nyumbani. It is also inclusive, kwa sababu inahusisha msasi kule nyumbani. Ijapokuwa saa zingine wasasi tunachoka kwa sababu ni mambo ambaye hatuelewi, mtoto akija na kusema hili jambo lifanywe, na msasi huwa saa zingine haelewi. lakini it is inclusive. Inafanya mzazi ashughulikie matakwa ama mahitaji ya mtoto.
Part of their concern being resources and infrastructure, which they say has been a constant problem in the county's education sector.
Professor Munabo na Kishomo Secondary School is a school where you will not reach with a vehicle. You will leave your vehicle and walk for 1 hour to access the school. When you are ferrying materials to build the school, you use donkeys to assist ferrying. That school, as we speak, does not have hardship allowance. And then you are told you must compete favorably with a teacher in Alliance High School. These are things we must put into consideration.
Embu County saw a teacher put forward the particular issues that the system faces when it comes to games and sports.
Subject like it has games like kabaddi, frisbee, softball, and these games are very good. Even some have never been had in Kenya. So we find that even for the teachers, you have that as a teacher to go and teach the learners. Seriously speaking, you have no content. You don't know what to do. So let us be responsible with the games and sports that we know that are there in our county.
The position of learners with special needs within the system was also addressed.
What we are recommending or proposing is to have a suitable curriculum for hearing impaired learners, which focuses more on practical skills than theory. HI learners.
Education is a very important social component in the life of the young people who later become critical human resource.
Their anxiety stemming from the young age of learners who will be graduating grade 6.
You are taking small children to secondary school. How are they going to live? 18-year-old and a 12-year-old, how are they going to stay in school? And moreover, these small children have not even known how to dress, they don't know how to wash, even their own clothes. They are still under the care of the parents.
The CBC debate will continue for a while. The CBC debate will continue for a while. But as of now, the citizens seem to agree. CBC may be expensive. The government may have gone about implementing it in the wrong way. But in the long run, it will be beneficial to our students and country. Pris Kanjari, Lookuptv.
Now, we feature Ion Shafi in this week's episode of Bonaman. He juggles between being a fitness practitioner and other hustles so as to make ends meet. He paints a clear picture of what it takes to be a fitness practitioner, something totally different from what lives in the minds of a majority. Now, he also narrates how he strives to meet his daily targets so as to be able to come in handy for his family. Here is Shafi.
It is believed by many that we hit the gym to achieve a perfect body. But for Shafi, it is a profession, a full-time job. In this week's episode of Bonaman, I bring you a story of beating odds to achieve one's dreams and aspiration. This is Bonaman. Ion Shafi is 32 years of age and a father of one. Shafi is living his dream and following his passion as a fitness practitioner, a passion that traces back to when he was a young teenager at 13 years.
I started fitness when I was 12 years, so I started with boxing, which I did until I was 19 years. Then I picked up rugby in high school. Then after high school is when I started bodybuilding. As a bouncer since I was 17 years. Yeah, I could do that because I had boxing skills and I was quite built. I did bouncer until 2017. Yeah, so that's when I traveled in Qatar. I got certified when I was in Qatar as a fitness trainer. Then I said, let me come to Kenya and try it out with my own people. So that's how it's been since then.
Certified in Qatar as a fitness practitioner and entrepreneur, Shafi has since dived into the art, making it a full-time business and setting his base here in Nairobi County. The man who now wears the crown of the current Mr. Fitness Kenya narrates his journey and how everything came to be.
Yeah, as I said, my first love was boxing. So I did boxing until I was 19 and was quite good at it. I started to push on with being a bouncer. Then my body, due to lifting and all that, started responding. When I did my first competition, I placed 5th in heavyweight category. Then I never looked back. Time is very important. We're all timed up, that's what I say. So I really have to use my time properly, you know, and quite try to be productive and be a mentor to those who are coming up.
For a majority, hitting the gym serves the purpose of perfecting the physical appearance. For Shafi, it's a full-time profession. He must stay fit so as to clearly accomplish his gym instructor job.
It takes a lot of dedication, a lot of discipline. You know, you must know how to train your muscle in a balanced manner, you know, to build muscle without building fat. It's a lot of knowledge that you need to acquire throughout the journey and through experience. To build this body, I have to eat around 6 to 8 meals a day. My body is my business. I can't let it deteriorate. My long-term goal is about longevity. Coming out of all this healthy. Bodybuilding can be very dangerous also. You can get life-threatening injuries.
How sustainable is a job for a sole provider in the current state of economy?
It's quite a broad field and it's very lucrative if you can be quite creative about it. This profession has really helped me. I got a direction of life. Those people in the ghetto, they really look up at me and wonder. Now I'm the reigning champion. You know, they get hope.
What defines a man? Is it what he owns, what he does for a living, or how he looks like? Shafi gives us his perspective of what it takes to be born a man.
As a man, what defines me is about character and the family. First of all, I can say it's my belief in God. It gives me discipline, avoiding drugs like alcohol, respecting people, being modest. Family second, then fitness. Those are the 3 things that really make me as Shafi. So bodybuilding, what I need to tell the society is a sport like any other. However, it's not an Olympic sport. It's something that is need to be embraced by the community. They should know that we are not dangerous people. Not everyone is on steroids, you know. Not everyone who is out to harm you. We're just friendly people trying to build a good body, live a healthy lifestyle, and try to earn a living alongside it.
Shafi prides in his profession, aware that as a man and provider, a higher task awaits him since his family fully depends on his hustle.
Lupita Nyong'o said all dreams are valid, you know. So you just need to be convinced about what you're thinking to become. Be convinced and be determined and chase it with all you got. And put God first and inshallah you can achieve it.
Shafi has already achieved quite a lot by the age of 32. He is focused on expanding himself further with the hope that there won't come a time when his profession will be rendered paralyzed. Cecilia Lubanga, Lookuptv, Nairobi.
All right, now that is Bonaman by Cecilia Lubanga. Thank you so much for your time and trusting us to bring you up to date with the news making headlines today. That does it for us here on the program. Our sign language interpreter tonight has been Philista Adundo. My name is Brian Amwai. Have yourselves a lovely night.